The secret is to share it with others, to not hold on to it. That's when you truly find the abundance that you've been searching for. 2 Timothy 4:7, Paul said, I've fought the good fight, I've finished the race, I've kept the faith. That's what you really want as your legacy. That's what you really want to end up with. Now I'm going to leave you with this. When I grew up, I was born in 1965, I'll be 50 this year. When I grew up, athletes weren't heroes, rock stars weren't heroes. The heroes were astronauts. NASA was a big deal.
Accomplishments.
Absolutely. And it was something, I mean, I can remember watching the astronauts walking out there in that big helmet, and you know, the gold they would shine in there, and they had the American flag on, and it was a sense of pride. And literally every TV in the nation was turned to watch these astronauts. Those were your true heroes. Now I want you to write these dates down if you still have your notes handy, because you can check me on these because they're fact. May 5th, 1961, Alan Shepard became the first American in space. Okay? Now, by in space, I mean they shot him straight up in the air aboard Freedom 7, the rocket. This is one of them where they climbed into the capsule, and the only thing below them was a bunch of rocket fuel. Okay? And they shot him straight up in the air. He was up in the air for 16 minutes, literally went 16 miles above the Earth's surface, got outside the field of gravity, and they called that in space. Now, until then, friends, they didn't know if a human could survive that. The only thing they'd sent up there before was dogs and monkeys, and they couldn't really tell them what the experience was like. Okay? So Alan Shepard really became a guinea pig. He was the first person to go into, the first American to go into space. The Russians beat us by about 2 weeks with Sputnik. Okay? So remember that date, May 5th, 1961. On May 25th, 1961, President Kennedy stood before Congress. And I've got this written out. I wish I had it committed to memory. One of these days I will. But it gets me every time because it's something that it's so powerful. Kennedy told Congress, he said, I believe we possess all the resources and the talents necessary. And I believe you do too. But the fact of the matter are that we have never made the national decision or marshaled the national resources required for such leadership. We have never specified long-range goals on an urgent time schedule or managed our resources and our time so as to ensure their fulfillment. He went on to say, let it be clear, and this is a judgment which the members of Congress must finally make. Let it be clear that I'm asking the Congress and the country to accept a firm commitment to a new course of action. A course which will last for many years and carry very heavy costs. $531 million in fiscal 62 and an estimated $7 to $9 billion additional over the next 5 years. If we are only going to go halfway or reduce our sights in difficulty, in my judgment, it would be better to not go at all. Now, we all know how the story ends. July 20th, 1969, Buzz Aldrin and Neil Armstrong walked on the moon. Because President Kennedy stood before Congress and said, if you'll give me this money, we will put a man on the moon by the end of this decade. He didn't say, I hope we will. Sure would be nice. I think we could. Boy, I got my fingers crossed. Y'all work with me. Give me a chance. He said, we will put a man on the moon by the end of this decade. He made a decision to succeed. Now, friends, I don't believe we walked on the moon on July 20th, 1969. I believe we walked on the moon May 25th, 1961, when President Kennedy said we will put a man on the moon by the end of this decade. And I believe if you'll make a commitment today to find the abundance in your life, to create that legacy, that you will succeed, no doubt. God bless you, everybody. Thanks so much for having me.
Thank you, Butch.